very
culture shock.
Culture shock because
I think it makes you realize how like small the amount of people of color there are on campus. I think it makes you think that you're like a percentage that you're filling out. It's kind of intimidating because you know that they have to take someone from your ethnicity in my case because they have to fill a quota. So I feel like coming into a PWI or applying to some PWIs, it like made me realize that they do have a quota to fill and that I am part of that. So it's kind of weird to think that like I am part of that because they need to have that.
They coming after me, it's annoying. Like it would matter if I'm a corpse. Hate that you reminded me here every time. Feels like I'm slowly just crossing the line. Tell me what's the
I was very, very intimidated, mostly because of the language barrier I had. I've never been to a place where I had to speak English all the time, and then noticing that even within my own team, there wasn't a lot of people of color, so that was kind of scary because it felt like there were a lot of things that we would never share, or a lot of experiences that they would not get, and it was knowing that like I got the first 2 or 3 weeks not seeing a lot of people like myself or not hearing the same language that I'm used to was just like very intimidating. I didn't know what people were going to think of me, or I wasn't sure if they would understand when I was struggling with something, or when I felt like people thought of me differently.
to me, it's a big difference from what I'm used to because the schools I come from, the communities I've come from, they're predominantly minorities, like from African American, Hispanic descent, or just not seeing as much as white people or PW being as rich as it is now. It's like when I came here, it was a big culture shock because like a lot of the stuff I'm used to, I don't see here. A lot of my type of people.
To me personally, I think it's definitely a culture shock for me because I originally went to mostly like predominantly black schools, and that was like my experience for most of my life. I feel like being here, I had a hard time adjusting to specific like, I don't know, like microaggressions and like just certain behaviors that like in spaces or communities that I had previously existed in, like wouldn't necessarily be like seen as like normal. They wouldn't be like normalized behaviors, but like here it's like very kind of swept under the rug, and so yeah, yeah.
The biggest thing that the biggest impact a PWI has on you as a non-white person is that you got to explain everything. Like anytime you're in a situation where you're dealing with a non-white culture, or like someone who's not white says something specific to them or does something or has some sort of cultural practice, you got to sit there and explain the whole thing to your white peers. And when they say insensitive things, you got to explain stuff to them, like everything. Because you're at a PWI, all the white stuff is treated as baseline. So when you're doing non-baseline things, you have to talk it out, otherwise you're gonna get looked at like you're being a weirdo, essentially.
I've always gone to predominantly white schools, so coming to Allegheny wasn't any different. I just think having diverse clubs is very helpful in just finding people who look like you and who can give you advice on what to do, especially being alone in college for the first time. I also think that just finding your people is also really important because friendship isn't based off race. Whereas you do want to find people who are exactly like you, but you also want to find people who can accept you for being different. So I think sometimes it can be hard because some people aren't very used to having POC friends. I've had to teach some of my friends how to say things properly or how to like ask me questions like that I won't be uncomfortable about, because I'm always fine with educating people.
Like my background, like my dad and my mom and everything, they really created a big sense of like culture and like specifically a big sense of like nationality, like knowing where you're from. The best way that I've known to always stay true to that version of myself is to always remember the history of where I came from, and that is what grounds me to where I'm from. And like once I feel that ground, like I know that this is where I'm from, this is everything that has happened in the past. It's hard to blend into a PWI when you know so much about the damages that have been caused to like people from where you're from. So like at first it was wanting to blend in, but then you realize you start becoming part of them doesn't really change who you are. It just does really nothing to you. But then like knowing where you're from and understanding that, like understanding your history and like how significant your culture is to you, like once you find that significance, it's a lot easier to be able to navigate both and have a lot of conversations that people are sometimes not ready for, but it's a lot easier to handle conversations once you know everything behind, like in this case, your culture.
Hate that you reminded me here every time. Feels like I'm slowly just crossing a line. Tell me what's the point blank place. I feel like it's running its course. No one even listens to me anymore. I'm a fucking peasant to you. I thought I was expected to you like the floor, but the fucking brain's sitting and recording. All I ever wanted was to be your one, and now I got 'em blaming you for shit. It's all according to the plan I had, and now we're all getting wanted for you. Fuck.